Okay, so the other night in this apartment, I had an experience that was very, very trippy. You know, it's not a scary apartment, but you just never know what's happening. What's that? No, joking. Anyways, so I'm gonna get on two subjects: paranormal and supernatural. Okay, so one is disturbing because in the very far corner over there, we had a air fryer that kept beeping for no reason. It was beeping. It was going beep. Later on, it was like beep. Later on, it was like beep. And then when I'm like, what the heck? It's like beep beep. And I'm like, what's going on? What the heck? Why are you messing with me? It goes like beep 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 beep. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, it was just crazy. Other than having problems with the TC at Walmart when I was doing the grocery shopping online type of stuff at pickup, I was having things like mess with me as far as the TC machines not, scanning things and making sure that it went through, that it got picked up already. I was like, dude, I did it already to the managers. And that was a trippy case where I was noticing that. And when I had this crazy experience where I was in my bedroom on my bed, and I'm like, I want to, be the attorney of Jesus and prosecute those, just to have it like in paperwork that I try to liberate the people. I know it sounds dumb to a lot of people, but that was my big belief. I was like, dude, we live in poverty. Milk is like $5, gas is like 6. I mean, it's like not making sense to keep making us go up on the money, like $20 for minimum wage fast food jobs. Like we don't need to keep making money go higher. We need money to actually go lower. Anyways, I'll get back to that, or you could look at my other videos as I talked already about debits and credits and accounting, and how it's a lot safer to go with credits instead of debits as far as money use. Um, and really, it should be awarded to everybody. If you're not working, if you're like a homeless, you should get like 20% of like what the people that are working make. You know what I mean? Like not 20 from them, but 20% of like say you're only making 200 or something a month and you're on unemployment, or you need assistance, things like that. But like as far as the living at work, they need like 1,000, 2,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? I know it's ridiculous, but that's the type of stuff where we just need a little extra help and push. And EBT is already a great help. So, we have things that are actually in a good system as far as getting people off the street or helping them out every other day, and they need to help themselves. But we're not going to get into that. I already got too far into that. Over there in the kitchen, I had to get up, and I thought it was the microwave. It sounded like how the microwave sounds like when you microwave something and it's like in there longer. And then later on, I go to the machine, and I thought I pressed turn off, and I walk away, and out of nowhere, it starts annoying me, going beep 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 beep. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, there was somebody here that was a visitor. You know what I mean? Either a visitor, because I already shook the place. I told, whoever passed in here, this is elderly apartments, and my dad is like an elderly, Um, on that part, I want everyone to be happy when they pass on, because the way that you live is the way that you die, and the way that you die is the way that you live in the afterlife or Genesis while you wait to come back. And when you come back, you don't need to be in a shitty mood from a past life, reincarnation of having a bad attitude. So positive makes positive, negative makes negative. And that's going to get on my next subject as far as unnatural and supernatural. This is really quantum physics and quantum thinking, even though people are like, enough with that. Well, no, this is actually fourth dimension thinking without needing to go fourth dimension. This is how far it is with that whole theory, forum, curriculum, and parts of, the steps or graduations or, the years or whatever, the part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you count that up and down, especially in Latin or Greek, you think about exorcisms, you think about, poltergeist, and that's another thing that I was about to talk about, the supernatural. So we'll get to that. with that machine. I walked away. Later on, my dad wakes up like 2, 3 hours later. He goes to work, and I tell him. And even though he's elderly, he still works, you know. So that's why I'm always like, God bless that man. What else was I gonna say? Even though he's a jerk, and when I say he's racist on the other videos, I don't mean he's racist in life. I mean he's racist towards like God's religions or people's religions towards God. You know what I mean? I believe that it's always all different faces of the same superpower, which is circle of life, universe, and seed and tree of life, which is life, you know? So, anyways, and inner fire. Remember that, inner fire. Fire is one of the first element, just like how triangle is the first geometric pattern. And those both represent each other. So you got to think about how everything correlates from in the tornado or vortex going out in order to expand the universe. Intellect and imagination and mistakes from imagination and getting curriculum correct is what's very important. So as far as the air fryer, he comes out and I tell him, dude, that thing was bugging all night. He's like, all right, let me go look over there. And he goes over there and he says, well, it's on. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like that air fryer, dude, that freaks me out with some paranormal stuff. So you always got to be careful with electronics, households, things that somehow are paranormal, like Ghost in Computer. If you ever saw that movie, it was like 1980s, 1990s. Very freaky, scary movie, even though people got so used to movies, and that's the bad part about prophecy, is that they started not caring, not believing. It started not being scary to them, the little effects. But when you're alone in a house, you have less heart rate, less frequency, less magnitude, you know, less weight on the Libra scale as far as normal and paranormal. So when you're by yourself and a deity wants to mess with you, it's going to be weighing down more in order to overpower you. When you have a friend with you, you might get freaked out. And by getting freaked out, both of you, you give it more weight. And the next you know, you both are like, what's that? Oh my God. This, you know what I mean? And praise God, praise Jesus. But when I'm speaking like that, I'm letting you know that you are not supposed to be scared of this paranormal. You're supposed to be stronger no matter what. Even if I saw that shadow get bigger, like I saw one time when I was a little kid, it literally went big from a tiny candlelight that was electricity, and it grew into a big shadow. Like it was just a big shadow that was, you know, it went from this tiny, just went like that to like big, and it was just staring at me, and it was so scary. Like I couldn't move. I was suffocating. I was pissed. I was like, you know, I was crying. I was like looking at it like, you know, don't shoot. Like, you know, like I want to attack you. I want you to stop messing with me and it's scaring the heck out of me. But I wanted to like, you know, and I couldn't do that. And so the next thing you know, this huge shadow that was huge, it went back to growing down, and it went back to that little candlelight that was just on the wall going, you know what I mean? So that was a long time ago in San Isidro. And everywhere you go, it's haunted. I mean, when you think about, what did I do right now? Oh, okay, I don't know what I did. I switched the camera light or something. Anyways, whenever, because it does look darker now, huh? It's kind of scary. It's like, who's that? What's that? This is that. I mean, my dad's door swings open and closes on its own. There's some freaky stuff in here, but am I ever scared? I get annoyed. I get headaches. Is that supposed to be normal for somebody that, you know, can feel the vibes, doesn't necessarily ever get to see anything, but always feels it naturally, you know? So, anyways, I want to say that's like the ability of a shaman. I mean, there's so many things that I'm noticing out there, and, whoa, what's that? It looks like something's right there. Okay, that's the chair, and then boom, it camouflages. That's a trip. I love it when I'm able to identify the things that people can easily freak out and get scared about. But this type of lighting right here is not really good. I mean, you could literally have things mess with you and trick with you. Like, for instance, I'm shining the light. All of a sudden, there's something that I'm seeing in the camera, or I'm actually seeing that I'm looking at, and then the camera don't see it, or the camera sees it, and later on when I try to show people, it's gone. You know, that's the type of part about making electrons turn into photons that makes negative electrons. And when you have things that are negative, that's when your mind can play tricks on you. Isn't that some trippy quantum physics? Anybody can test all that theories out and we'll see that I'm 100% correct, even though I'm going based off my own experiences and my own perception as well as observation, you know? So, other than that, I want to go into the supernatural because there's paranormal, which is supernatural, but I want to go into the science part as far as those photons and electrons, you know, that make light. So, I've said already, with electrons turning into photons and shooting back out as negative electrons, I will never get over it when I'm trying to demonstrate and explain to the world that if you have candles, they will kind of scare the spirits or deities away because, you know, fire is a natural way of dying as well. It is the gift of life. So whether you believe in witchcraft, voodoo, you know, prayer, any of that, you have to respect the elements because everything we're living in today is manipulating or bending or breaking or killing or sacrificing elements. So we're living in condemned hellholes in a sense. And even though it looks nice, I mean, there's people that like to be DJs, there's people that like to go to raves, there's people that have their rooms all colored up with all kinds of electricity components. TV, computer, fireplace that's in the wall that's electricity. You got a freaking poster that's like EDM carnivals and it's all electric where you plug in. You have a lava light. You have video games. You have music. You have all kinds of electronics. And you're basically like, when you first get into those, you're super happy. You're like, heck yeah, you know, I just got this and that. But it ends up being where you're in the 4D prison because no longer are you trying to play a video game that's 2D or 3D, which is this world, just the same as this world. You know, the video games that got better as far as Call of Duty, wrestling, let's see, football, soccer, how realistic it looks, you know for a fact that that is 3D at its best. And then when the video games, movies, animes, they start looking like crap. I mean, I love Seven Deadly Sins, but what I wanted to say about Seven Deadly Sins is after they made like the fifth one or whatever, their show was sick, but it became 4D. And when it came like 4D, it started looking like a kid's, uh, like a kindergarten kid's soft puppet show or cartoon type of animation, you know? It just wasn't the same. But when you're playing video games and you get into your video game so much, you're no longer playing a video game. You are now a video game character playing a video game. When actors get so much into their roles, like, no offense, Rock, because I really think that Dwayne Johnson is badass, but that's for an example, like him playing Black Adam. Black Adam is the mirror or different color of Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is some scary, trippy stuff. And when you see him in the movie where he's all shocking electrical, like really like God looking, that's very scary because he's not a God for the fact that none of us humans can be the main god. We could only be the like demigods as far as getting smarter with our intellect, our imagination that's on point for our intellect to grow and be correct on every thesis, being able to detect, investigate, you know, just explain everything and be able to be on point where nothing can actually fool you. Nothing can ever manipulate you. Nothing can mind control. Nothing can make you see, for instance, no offense to anybody, but like Son of Sam, he was talking to a dog. The dog was telling him to do things. Nobody and nothing can manipulate you in that sense. Nobody can make you go to war. Nobody can make you vote on people that are just going to rob you and keep you oppressed. You know what I mean? All of that stuff, you're able to actually be that strong. Organic witch. Instead of only looking at Jesus as far as being Gandalf, because I love to say that, he's like the white wizard. Like he was the greatest medicine man, curing people, loving everybody, breaking bread. And when you look at that, we all can be like the gray wizard under him, but we're strong enough to always help out no matter what. It sounds crazy, but it's very true. If you believe that there's ghosts, or that people have been scared because they've seen ghosts, or you had some scary phenomena, you know that this quantum physics thinking is always on point, because anything and everything is kind of possible as long as there's a possibility of the unexplained somehow being there. So, as far as I'm saying right there, Dwayne Johnson, all these other people that are making these movies that are just, they're just standing there. But even though they're just standing there and they're playing the parts, that ends up making it a quantum physics like reality of astral projection as well, of an altered reality of like people being so into that ends up like, you graduate, you end up passing on from being alive to passing on. You don't want your life stuck in a video game. The way that you live is the way that you die. So those that are hardcore video gamers, I really worry that they made an ultimate universe where they're actually stuck in a matrix where all they do is play video games and they feel like they're the video game themselves. That is some trippy stuff, and that's what I worry about. There's people that are great at making video games, but how far do they take it? Because how long do they stay on video games all day? That is a trippy subject right there. As far as electricity, if we had solar panels that had way better conductors as far as voltage turning into wattage, then that would be all because of the cords, the connections, the wiring. All of that is where it's very thin and weak. And that's what I noticed whenever I looked at solar panels, whenever I saw some that were sitting on the side, they were going up on the parking lots, anywhere and everywhere. I noticed that they have thin, thin wires. We'll boost those babies up with like 15 wires or a thick, super cable. You will see that with it having 2 parts or 3 parts as far as getting energy, shooting back the negative, and then also another one shooting another one as far as it going 3-way, like kind of like a Z, like Zor, or like Zeus. These type of patterns, you're like, what are you making up some weird shit now? No, I'm also getting to the point that everything in science has to do with micro and macro. So mind, body, and spirit. If you're missing spirit as far as not being in touch with God or meditating or having healthy living, you'll be that much more drained or that much more complicated. So at the same time, I'm talking about molecular neurotransmitting or memory or functioning. I'm also talking about cable cords and connections and making sure that we develop the best energy to live off of. Because this type of energy that I'm speaking about, it's not getting enough with solar panels. All you're doing is buying expensive solar panels, and you're only saving so much money, even though you should be saving all your money. So these are a lot of things that I have come to explain as far as getting that much smarter, promoting myself as far as being a scientist. And sadly, to end this show, I want to explain that my Facebook got messed with. And I've been getting messed with lately because I've been on point with so much scientific stuff that they're actually like telling me to show my ID. They actually had me like if I was like against the wall taking pictures. So I had to do that with my own phone while it was saying look left and look right. I mean, I felt like if I was getting booked, going through booking. But anyways, that is crazy because everything that I have conducted is just so on point, and you can find it either on Victor Osborne, that is TikTok, and hopefully they let me keep my Facebook. Because after this, if they let me keep it, I gotta make a new Facebook and just copy my ideas and get that one at risk. So this one I keep, because it's really foolish how I explain so much. It's actually putting everyone on blast as far as being the manipulators, the ones that have been practicing alchemy for so long. And now that word alchemy is actually in the word chemistry. So, witchcraft and science, and in science hiding the witchcraft now. That's a trip. But yeah, I hope I helped you out with paranormal and unnatural that is actually supernatural in both ways. God bless. Take care.